one idea that I've been playing about with where the field is going is data science and machine learning aligning with policies and regulations of governments, with ethical reviews coming and policy changes coming. I can see within the next 5 years, a lot of data scientists, at least at the managerial level, at the strategy level, like yourself, starting to incorporate some form of AI ethics and policy within that pipeline. Do you have any thoughts into this?
This is actually something that I'm building out some content for on my Substack is this concept of AI governance. The first post that I'm going to do is defining where AI governance fits in overall AI strategy and then connect it to the larger business strategy. Because governance is the business really making sure business needs and core strategy drives AI strategy. So the business has a voice, but it doesn't have to manage the technical side of it. It doesn't have to manage the technology because senior leaders are not good at that. They don't have time to do that. They want to manage value creation. And so the concept of AI governance is where you begin to bring in the regulatory aspects as well, because the business has not only business needs, but also an environment that it operates in. So it incorporates customer needs, it incorporates competitive forces, but now we have regulation coming on, and it's another layer to the concept of AI governance. And so that's where I see it fitting in the business is you're going to have that business strategic or data scientist strategist role really leading this concept of AI governance, connecting your senior leaders with your data science team, your data and analytics organization, helping the two communicate with each other and building this AI governance framework. Because business to business, it's going to be different. There isn't, this canned model. Everyone's trying to create these standardized, it doesn't work. Machine learning by nature is an intelligent process. You can't put hard and fast rules around it and expect them to work. You can't innovate. You cannot continually improve a model if you have too rigid of an AI governance framework. And so I think that's where this collaborative approach comes into play, is that you have to have a customized AI governance framework, business to business. That's a collaboration between teams. And also, I think businesses are going to begin to collaborate with government organizations to figure out this regulation mess. Because if you put traditional types of rules in place over technology, businesses just optimize to get around it. And that's not the spirit of the regulation. That's not the point. The point is to protect people. It's not, about data privacy or any of these bigger, larger, ideals. Really, the thing is we want to protect people. We want to make sure that people are in control of their lives, really. And no one's going to disagree with that at a fundamental level, because if you look at customer satisfaction from a business standpoint, we don't want customers to feel like they're out of control. We want interactions with the business brand to be positive. We don't want them to feel like we're stealing their data. We don't want them to feel like we're pushing models in front of them that are treating them unfairly or providing a poor experience. And that aligns with what government is looking to do. They want to make sure that we're not, as businesses and as data scientists, doing harm to society. And so the goals align. All that has to happen is we create frameworks that make sense, because right now we don't have qualified people at the policy level who can build anything that's going to, number one, work the way they think it does. And number two, really deal with a forward looking view of not where we are right now, because many privacy battles have already been lost. This data is already out there. We've already lost some battles. And so if we're not looking forward, we're going to just continue to lose battles and try to react to the battles that we've lost instead of looking ahead and saying, okay, how do we secure the next 5 years, not try to clean up the last 5 years?
And one thing is, I see this role of AI policy advisor, AI ethics advisor coming up, and your role of AI strategies and AI strategist coming up as well over the years coming. And you mentioned that it doesn't need to be technical, that this role doesn't needs to involve the technical aspects, but can we actually not involve the technical considerations within this role? Can we actually get around that?
Well, the data scientist strategist is the technical side of this. They are a data scientist who is now competent as a strategist, who uses models to build and guide core strategy. And that's the important piece about the data scientist strategist is it's that hybrid role. Then you would talk about AI ethicist. Again, that's someone who understands the policy side and the society and regulatory side, but who also is a data scientist. And so you have another hybrid skill set. And so they're the technical pieces of this governance framework. When I say that you can't be technical, I mean from a senior leadership standpoint. They're not going to be including data scientists in the C-suite for probably another 5 to 6 years. But at some point very soon, you're going to struggle to be a CTO, a CIO, if you are not a data scientist. And I think looking more like 10 years down the road, I don't think you'll be able to be a CEO if you're not a data scientist. I don't think there will be a C-suite role that will not require data science capabilities. I think that's where we're going. Data science literacy is a 5-year must-have plan for companies to look at internal training and upskilling. But looking further out, I mean, data science is going to get easier over the next 10 years. And so you're not going to have the PhD or master's background in order to be a data scientist anymore. We're going to have tools to help us out with that. At the same time, you are going to need to be able to build your own models in any sort of high-level leadership role. If you can't do that, it's going to get really hard to function